Welcome to Walden Pod. I'm Emerson Green. So it's inevitable that anyone who calls out reductionism of any sort will be viewed with a certain amount of suspicion. You might find yourself being accused of harboring some anti-scientific prejudice, or of mindless romanticism, or of being unable to face the truth. But I still want to address a common but inaccurate type of reductionism, which I'll call tunnel vision reductionism. When it's said that love is just a chemical reaction, or humans are just bags of chemicals, it's the just that I have a problem with. Love is a chemical reaction. It is not just a chemical reaction. Tunnel vision reductionism takes one description of reality and declares it to be the real description of reality, to the exclusion of all others. At the very least, the given lower-level description is considered more true than the higher-level description. These reductionists have arbitrarily eliminated every other description of the world except one. Then they act as if they're the only ones who have the courage to look the hard truth straight in the face. However, if we describe the biochemical correlates of love, we haven't described everything there is to know about love, nor have we given the real description of love. We've provided a description, one that's often useful, but there are many legitimate ways of talking about our world, scientific and non-scientific. Even strictly in the realm of scientific description, it doesn't make sense to choose one way of talking about reality to the exclusion of all other scientific descriptions. This poor imitation of real reductionism is based on the fallacious idea that lower levels of description, in this case the neurobiological one, are somehow more true, or even the only true ones. Higher level descriptions, like the ones that include purposes and mental states, are mere illusions. But why stop at the neurobiological level? Why not say that neurons are also illusions, since they're actually made of atoms? But wait, atoms too are illusions, since they're actually made of electrons and quarks. Real reductionists recognize that different levels of description are useful for different purposes. It's silly to say that some aren't real just because they're emergent. If the experience of love isn't real, then neither is the chemistry underlying it. Two reasons this naive reductionist tendency is elevated to pet peeve status for me is number one, if you call it out, you sound irrational and anti-science to many, as if you can't handle the cold, hard truth. Number two, those who affirm this reductionism appoint themselves as the defenders of science and reason while they're denying the complexity of reality to make it easier for them to grasp. They're pretending the universe is less than it really is in order to make it simpler to comprehend. If all of human life is really just game theory or chemical reactions, then it's a lot easier to wrap your head around. If the one true key to understanding lies in evolutionary theory, or the biochemistry of this or the behavioral psychology of that, then the world becomes a rational place that's less challenging to decipher and far less shrouded in chaos and mystery. They sacrifice the truth for a comforting lie and manage to reverse that charge on those who point it out. The basic problem with tunnel vision reductionism is that it has a narrow and inconsistent notion of real. Neurons are taken to be real, but emotions are illusory, or at least less real than neurons. Both are emergent higher-level phenomena, but for some reason, the former is the true description. But if love isn't real because it's a higher-level description, then neurons aren't real either. Neither are chemicals like oxytocin. And it's not like you have to be romantic about what I'm saying. If you say that love is just a chemical reaction, that's the real explanation, well then what are you saying about the evolutionary description? Or the behavioral description? Let alone the first-person subjective description. None of these are biochemical or neurobiological descriptions. yet I still think they're very real. It just makes no sense to hone in on one description to the exclusion of all others, especially when that description is itself a higher level description, which, by the lights of the tunnel vision reductionist, means it's not real. So their notion of what counts as real is way too narrow, but it's also inconsistent. As I said, if love isn't real because it's a higher level description, then neurons aren't real either. To quote physicist Sean Carroll, "When we talk about air in a room, we can describe it by listing the properties of each and every molecule, or we speak in coarse-grained terms about things like temperature and pressure. It would be silly to say that temperature isn't real just because the concept doesn't appear in some fine-grained vocabulary. We talk about the world using different levels of description, appropriate to the question of interest. Does baseball exist? It's nowhere to be found in the standard model of particle physics, but any definition of exist that can't find room for baseball seems overly narrow to me." End quote. Carroll defends a view he calls poetic naturalism, wherein, quote, "there is only one world, but many ways of talking about the world." End quote. Ways of talking about the world include different theories, models, vocabularies, stories, and so on. Quote, "If a particular way of talking turns out to be sufficiently accurate and useful, the elements in its corresponding vocabulary deserve to be called real." End quote. Poetic naturalism is very nearly the opposite of tunnel vision reductionism. Here's one more brief instance of the latter. I once spoke to an objectivist, a follower of Ayn Rand, who kept insisting that a relationship is just a transaction. A relationship is a transaction in some sense, but I think there's maybe a bit more going on. This sort of reductionism diminishes something to a sliver of what it is in actuality. After it's safely been reduced to something more manageable, for example, evolutionary theory, behavioral economics, computation, neurobiology, building a worldview is a much simpler task. Thank you for listening. I've been Emerson Green, and I'll talk to you next time.